Hello, my fellow artisans, and welcome to the Miss Mama Work channel, where we are working on another watercolor. As I have told you before, I am going crazy about watercolor nowadays. I am in a watercolor phase, but I am trying to keep up with my digital work as well. There will be a lot going on digitally. Right now, I want to talk about what to do with art that you don't like anymore, or art that you think is not up to your standards of today. Because I actually made this cat and butterfly watercolor piece because I made a piece of a cat and a butterfly digitally about, I think, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, at my boyfriend's place, where I was kind of stuck in long COVID boredom, and I just bought my lovely tablet. I want to say a tablet. I call her Debbie. Debbie the Tabby tablet, and I was just fooling around, and I was so proud of how I made this little circle with the cat and the butterfly. And I used references, and I used everything. And if I look at that same picture nowadays, I'm like, no, I don't like it anymore. It's absolutely not up to standard with how I work today, how I use references today, and it's just a bit of a bummer because I was so proud back then. And now I'm remaking that same picture because I just can't be proud of that anymore. So that's a bit of a bummer. What I learned about myself, especially, is that even though you can take away the perfectionism. I was a big perfectionist back in the day when I was younger and I could not do anything like I wanted to back then. Even though I try to not be as a perfectionist as I used to, I still have this benchmark in my head that I had to be better, or my art has to stay up to a certain standard. And I learned that throughout the years, my benchmark will always become higher, and even if I am proud of things today, I won't be later on, which is kind of sad, and I recognize that. So if you are looking at your art and you think, I really don't like how it's looking right now, I actually know what you're talking about. If I look at my watercolors right now, I already am looking at one of the first tries and thinking, oh, I could have done this better and I could have done that better. But what I also realized is that I had to go through all these phases to get where I am now. And I think that's a very important thing to keep realizing, because even though your art is not up to your own standard, you should know that there's always a phase that you are proud of it at that moment, and then you learn more things, and your benchmark will go higher, and you will look at other artists and go, I want to be more like that artist. Of course, be aware that certain artists are just outside of your reach. I will never be a realistic painter. I love realistic paintings. Every time I see an almost photorealistic dog portrait, or I see someone making the most realistic still life of fruit and plants and flowers, I am extremely jealous, but I know that it's not my style, and I know that it won't be in me, like in my skill set, for at least for now, because I love to work with line art, I love to work with inking certain things, and that just does not fit with, you know, photorealistic art. And I also really like being more in the illustrative kind of pictures. My mother usually says that I am quite well adapted to making children coloring books or children books to read for your very own children. And if I look at this cat, I am like, yes, of course, I understand where she's coming from. But I also think that I should not focus on making illustrations purely for, children, or uh, mark myself as being a children's book illustrator. Because I also like to make horror art. I also like to make more adult art, not necessarily in the Rule 34 section, but it's not as innocent as people sometimes believe. And if I mark myself as a children book illustrator or illustrator that focuses on children, you cannot do that anymore. You're very restricted with that. And that's also how I view my faces and how I view my art. For like, if I mark myself as a digital artist and now I'm working with watercolors, it's not gonna work. Even though I think that's more uh, allowed in like at moral circles. If you are a children's book artist, you cannot do lewd art, as far as I am aware of. You will be looks weird at, to be sure. But yeah, it is quite a lovely picture, as I can say it myself. By the way, if you want to see me work on this in real life, if you want to see like the slowed down version, please comment that you want to see this, because I usually edit these heavily. Uh, one of these pictures takes me like 4 to 5 hours, up to 8 hours, and you know it's a bit too long for me to put it on YouTube. I don't think it will add a bit more. But if you want, for example, to have a separate video, a long video of my live stream, where you can also hear what I'm saying during everything and put commentary on that, you can comment there, and I will try to also put all my long videos on this channel. And if you actually like my art and like to see how everything is uh, being made, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. I am trying to reach at least 300 subscribers this year. I am at as I'm recording it, 254. So it will be another 50, and then I will be really happy and might celebrate with a special video. And one of the things that I think really highlights my way of looking at old art is like, how can I improve things? I think one of the things that made me realize that my old art is not up to my standards is, how can I improve things? I'm always looking for improvement at all my work, at all everything I do, and that is a big motivator for me. We're almost done with this piece, by the way, so let me tell you a bit more about why I usually combine plants and animals in my watercolors and not do many portraits, because I think a lot of people love to see portraits, but portraits are one of the most difficult things to do for me, because portraits, especially portraits of people, are uh, actually on the high standard scale. Because if you want to portray someone very detailed in as realistically as possible, everything that may look off will have a giant impact on how the overall feeling of the picture will be. So if I draw just a cat and have like this loose uh, illustrative character on it, then I can make it any color I want. I can fix the eye, I can fix the pose, that doesn't matter. If I make your pet or your pet cat and one of their eyes are a different shade of green, you will notice that immediately. And with this type of like loose flower and animal portraits, it will actually be a lot easier. Well, that's almost it, so I will leave you for today. Please like and subscribe if you will like this, and I see you in the next video. Goodbye, my fellow artisans. Goodbye.